Hello, thanks for coming back to my channel. If this is your first time, welcome. Thanks for clicking the thumbnail. It means a lot to have you here. My name is Hilary Tamar. I live in Tiny Hell on Wheels. I am the builder, creator, designer. I do it all, and I'm here to share some of my DIY journey with you. Let's learn and create along the way. Before we get started, if you have a chance, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'd love to see you around here more often. I'd like to be around here more often. I like to say, oh, I'll have a new video every week. And what happened to January, guys? January has been a month. Wow. I'm going to go on record saying it's been one of the hardest months of my life. And I don't say that very lightly. I've had personal problems. I've had pet problems, relationship problems, COVID. I threw out my back. I had my Lyme symptoms flare up. But you know what? We're back. It's a new month. I have a new attitude. And we're going to film a new video. And it's going to be great. So, thank you for listening. Let's get started. Okay, so for today's project, we are going to be altering a coat. This is a pretty basic camo cold weather coat from Walmart, actually. It is time and true. It is a 1X. I sized mine up just one so I could like layer a bunch underneath it because I like to layer. It's not the warmest of coats. Like certainly if I was back on the East Coast, I think that this would be a little cold without like another sweater underneath it. But for Texas, this is perfect. We usually don't get below 40s, so this has been great even for those like 30s days. So I really like this coat. I think it was a great buy for 20 bucks. I'm a big fan. I just have a few minor adjustments that I'd like to make with you guys today. There is no shape to this coat whatsoever. I purposely oversized so that I would have room for sweaters underneath, but I still would like the option to have a little bit more of a cinch through my waist to give my body more of a shape. So I don't want to take in any of the coat because I do want to have room for sweaters like I was saying. But I think what I'm going to do is start here, go all the way behind and end here, and just put an elastic back there to really cinch it in like this when there's not a bunch of layers underneath it. And then, but still have the option to stretch out if there's layers. The other issue I have is the sleeves. They're very much too long, first of all, again, this size up, and they don't have elastic, and I am one that I really need my sleeves to be cinched in. I find myself constantly rolling my sleeves up because they just like get in the way, and I hate it, and it's time to fix that. So we're just gonna add another casing with some elastic, so I still have the room to get mittens on. I'm not gonna take it in, but of course I can have it stay on my wrist. So we're gonna do both wrists that way. The hood, again, it's all oversized, so I'm not complaining that it's oversized because I did that on purpose. But because it doesn't have any drawstring or elastic, as soon as it's a windy day outside, it just like comes off with like a little tiny blow of wind. So I'm going to add some sort of a drawstring or elastic or something so I can have a tighter fitting hood if wanted. Okay, which leads me to my last issue that I have with this coat. See this little flap behind the zipper? This thing constantly gets stuck when I'm zipping the coat. Right now it's stuck. It is like it's constantly stuck and it drives me absolutely nuts. And yeah, it's time to fix it. So I think like, I know you're supposed to keep it behind the zipper and not let cold air get through, but that's less of my problem. More of my problem is that it gets stuck in my zipper. So I think I'm gonna fold it back and stitch it so it's not in the way anymore. And last but not least, this is purely cosmetic, and I saw this on actually a Fabletics coat. Looks like this. I cannot believe we have lived so long without coats with this option. Basically, they added a strap of like webbing on like either the shoulder seams or the collar seam or something, and then you like put it over your body when you're not using it, so you walk around with it like a messenger bag. How are we just thinking about this? Like, this is such a smart idea. And now that I've seen it, there's so many times where I'm like I need that. I need that in my coat. So we're going to figure out how to do it and do it that way. Overall, I think this coat's great. And these alterations are going to be really quick, really easy. I could go in and like take everything apart, put it in, put it back together, but I just don't see the purpose in doing that when this is a $20 coat. I'm not going to take this whole coat apart to try and like put in an elastic that you can't see. Like, I don't care about that. I'm just going to add it. And again, same for the waist. Like, there's already indentations from where like all the down is. And there is this seam right here. So I'm not going to worry about putting extra seams in this. It just doesn't matter to me. They'll be hidden enough anyway. They won't be like, I won't use like a contrasting thread. Like, they'll look fine. They'll look continuous. And actually there's already a seam in the hood. So I basically just have to weave a drawstring through this casing already, which is, I think, going to be fairly basic to do. So I think there'll be really easy adjustments without getting too crazy. Again, it's a $20 coat, so like I have no problem doing these alterations. I think if this coat was like $80, $120, $200, I'd want all these things already done. I wouldn't want to do it, and I certainly wouldn't be putting new seams that you would see because it would ruin the aesthetic of a designer coat. But this is Walmart. I don't care, and I think it'll look just fine, and it'll be a much more useful coat for me. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, voiceover Hillary here. Here I am getting the perfect straight line across my coat for the waist elastic. I'm just zipping it up and drawing some lines, marking where I want it on my body, and then I will be able to add the casing on the inside. I wanted to use all scraps for this project, so I'm deciding which fabric looks the best for the elastic casing inside the coat. Looks like this dark denim is going to work the best. Here I'm cutting the elastic and casing for the waist. The casing is 26 inches by 2 inches, and I'm using 3/4 inch elastic, which I already had on hand. Next, I measured where I wanted the strap to hit, and I came up with about 36 inches. So I cut the denim at 36 inches by 3.5 inches because I'll be folding it in on itself to have a strap of 1 3/4 inches. For the cuffs, I used my own body as a measuring tool. I'm not sure what the final number is that I came up with, but I did make it tight enough that it wouldn't fall past my hand and loose enough that I could still fit gloves inside the cuffs as well. Plus, I used 1/2 inch elastic that I already had on hand for this. I love that the hood zips off. I measured the length of the hood opening and added a few inches for this drawstring. I'm using an 1/8 inch elastic for this that I already had on hand. Time to iron. For the waist elastic casing, I serged all 4 sides so it wouldn't fray once sewn into place. Thanks to my measurements earlier, I marked out straight lines for the casing to be pinned to. Here I am pinning it into place, careful not to bunch up the coat underneath it. I should also say I folded the serged edges down so you wouldn't see them, and it made for a nice clean finish. Time to sew into place. Keeping the ripstop nylon flat as I sewed was not easy. I really took my time for this. I used a straight stitch and left both short sides open to thread the elastic through later. Once I was finished, I checked to see if the back bunched up at all, and it only did in one small part. So I took my snips and my seam ripper and just pulled out the stitches where it was all bunched up and re-sewed it flat. Using my long threader, I pulled the elastic through the casing, sewed it in on one side, stretched it, and sewed it onto the other side. I also struggled to keep it flat inside the casing, so you'll see me adjusting it a few times here, but once it was adjusted, it hasn't moved since. Okay, so for some reason the rest of the time lapse got deleted. Let me quickly fill you in on what you missed. Once the waist was done, I sewed the strap in half, right sides together, turned it right side out, and then added a few top stitches lengthwise to give it some structure. Then I attached it to both ends of the collar. Later, I sewed a top stitch 3/4 of an inch down the cuff, poked a hole between the cuff edge and the top stitch, and pulled the 1/2 inch elastic through. I overlapped the end of the elastic, sewed it together, and sewed the hole shut. I repeated it on both sides. For the hood, I poked a hole along the hood opening. I threaded an 1/8 inch elastic through, added wooden beads as stoppers, and it was done. Although I lost the informative part of the video, I did manage to save this. All right, let's remind ourselves of the before. I'm done. Let's check it out. Okay, so here we are with the coat. As you can see, I stitched this part down so that it won't get stuck when I zipper it. So let's try that out. No stuck. Oh my god, that's awesome. Okay, so I almost feel like this could even be a little tighter in here. It sucked me in a little bit, which is nice. There's still room though, and it comes in a little bit, so that's nice. I need like an elastic here too, but it's not so bad. Check out my sleeves, my wrists. They don't come off anymore now that I like shake my hand. They stay, which is great, and they still have some room so they're not too tight, and I could put mittens on and still have room to like suck them in there, so that's good. Works perfectly. My hood, still plenty of room, but as you saw, I put these drawstrings in. These are actually the straps I use for my masks, my ear straps. That's funny. I had them and they worked perfectly. You can tighten it and then you like pull the bead and it keeps it tight, so it's not going to come off. I go all the way up, like that's not coming off. I defy the wind to pull it off of me. I couldn't really see, but that works out really well. Okay, that's way too tight. Ah! And you just pull the bead back down. Make sure there's like a knot in the loop here, so you can't like pull it. You can pull it all the way and it won't come off. And then my favorite part of all, you take the coat off and secretly this strap is in, I actually attached it to this collar part. As you can see, this strap is attached here at this collar and here at this collar. I was gonna do it in the shoulder seams, but it was like a little too close together. Yeah, it would be like here and here, which is like too close. This is much better. Yo, check it out. Now when I'm too hot and I need to walk around, I can literally have my coat cross body like this. And it looks way cooler, I think. I think it looks like a messenger bag. And it doesn't drag on the ground. I don't have to tie it around my waist and then like keep adjusting it. That's annoying. It just fits perfectly. Oh my gosh. I love it. This coat is now my favorite coat. I'm so excited. I'm gonna wear this all the time, man. I already was wearing it all the time, but now I'm gonna be more excited about wearing it all the time. So I think like in total, this only took me like an hour and 20 minutes. And like some of it, I was just like kind of taking my time and like had to rethread the machine. So like this is a fairly quick project. So if you have a coat that maybe you need to make some adjustments, or like it would just be more convenient if you made some adjustments, I think that you should try it. And I hope this video inspired you to do so. So I just used scrap for this project because I have plenty of scraps lying around from projects and you don't need very much for this project. I think it was like 36 inches of this strap by 3.5 inches wide. I needed, this strap was 26 inches long by 2 inches wide. And then I just had elastic already from my projects that I've worked on. So I just used that. So this project didn't cost me any money whatsoever. I just used scraps. And you could like cut your own pair of jeans or like an old towel or something for this. Like you don't have to go buy new ripstop, which is cool if you did. I mean, it would be cool if I bought like ripstop and then it looked like it was sort of together, but like, I don't really care enough. Like, I think it looks cool as it is. Plus we're not buying new material and having extra from that. We're using our old scraps. So it's kind of more eco-friendly, which I really like. So I hope this project inspired you to alter your own coat, or maybe a shirt, or you have a sweatshirt that you want to add this to. Thank you all so much for joining me today. Thanks for clicking that thumbnail. It really means a lot to me. I was out for a couple weeks. I didn't film all of January. I was in a funk, but I feel like I'm back now. Comment below what you'd like to see me DIY next. Who knows? I may just pick it and do it. Also, if you're wondering about my lovely space, this is a container that my husband was using for storage and his workspace. Yes, there are plastic on the walls. It is cheaper than buying drywall. And if you hang it nice, it looks pretty nice. You know what? Don't come at me. This is just what we're dealing with right now. This is a 40x8 container. It is insulated. It has air conditioning. It has room for all of my stuff. And it sure beats the garage I was working in before, because that place was dusty, dirty, way too cold to work in over the winter, and all my stuff was getting messed up. It was to the point where like Crusher, sweet baby Crusher, I cleaned out her bed one day and there were tons of like little scraps and bigger scraps of my fabric that she's just been like pilfering from my sewing area in the garage. And I was like, this isn't gonna work. I paid money for those scraps, Crusher. Those are not blankets for you. those are expensive, scraps. So being in here with a door that closes, with air conditioning and heating, with my own electrical system in here, better lighting, it's a dream. It may not look pretty, but it's a dream. I'm sure thankful to have this space. I'm thankful for my husband to allow me to use it, even though it is his space and he spent a lot of money fixing it up. Have an awesome rest of your day, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if you haven't already, go ahead and like this video. If you liked it, give it a subscribe. If you want to see more of my DIY universe, and comment below what you want me to DIY next. As always, here are my social media links. Please go follow for more up-to-date info and updates about me personally. And I will see you guys on the next video. Bye.